Hello students, welcome to btech 360. There is some news that's coming in as far as the fresher hires are concerned from NITs, IITs and IITs, because obviously all of you students would be trying to understand what kind of placements are happening in the current year. And especially because AI is impacting jobs and we need to understand what kind of job demand would be there as we move forward. I'll just read out the 3 reports that you actually have got as annual reports in the last 1 month from Infosys, TCS and Wipro, and trying to understand the headcount of those companies. Remember, in the past 2 decades, they've been growing exponentially in terms of the headcount and have been growing about 7-10% year on year in terms of the total headcount. But when you now look at it, TCS, the headcount was 6,14,795 in 2023. It is now 5,84,519, which means they've dropped 28,000. They're no longer growing. The total headcount has dropped. Similarly, Infosys was 3,43,234, which has now come down to 3,28,594. Again, a drop of about 15,000. Wipro was 2,58,000, which became 2,42,000, a drop of 16,000. So the fact that's happening right now is that they're no longer increasing the total headcount, they're actually dropping. So what was earlier 7-8% increase is now a drop of 3-4% year on year. And the news that's coming out from NIT Warangal, and possibly this will be reflected in all the IITs also, because the first casualty at this point in time is some of these companies are now also retracting offers. An offer that's been made to the student in the campus is now retracting. And the first news came from NIT Warangal, and the company is Oracle, which means that the offers that are made by Oracle across all campuses would be also possibly meeting the similar fate. Because when NIT Warangal students can meet this fate, trust me that any other institution would never be spared. That's because overall, globally, Oracle is now cutting down jobs and have decided that they'll cut down the total manpower that they want to employ. And to that extent, the first casualty obviously would be a student who's got an offer from Oracle, who's a fresh campus hire, who's not even joined the place. There's one student from NIT Warangal, his name is Aditya Kumar Barawal, who writes on LinkedIn, by the way. He says, "Hello, I wanted to share an important update with my network. My PPO offer from Oracle, Day Zero company, was recently revoked due to internal restructuring and headcount related changes. I'm now actively looking for opportunities in AI/ML engineering and backend." And he says that in 2021 he cleared NDA with AR77. 2022 he joined NIT Warangal. 24 he did AI/ML research intern at NIT Warangal. Built a startup that crossed 1 lakh revenue in 30 days. Winner at Impact Tank also, and so on and so forth. And he says, during my internship, I worked at NLP, LLM-based clustering, and so on and so forth. But the simple thing that, the essential information for all of you is that Oracle, which gave an offer to the students of NIT Warangal and possibly many other institutions around the country, has revoked its offers. And this, by the way, is substantiated by what NIT Warangal also gave as a certificate or as a circular to all prospective employees. Because you should know that in these institutions, when you accept an offer, then you can't sit for another job posting. So what NIT Warangal wrote is, to whomsoever it may concern, this is to certify that the following candidates are bona fide students of NIT Warangal. These students successfully secured employment offers through the Center for Career Planning and Development, which is called CCBPD, via the on-campus interview selection process during the initial phase of placement in 25-26. In accordance with the institute's established one student, one job policy, these students were subsequently restricted from participating in further placement opportunities. And then the circular goes on to say, however, regrettably, the recruiting organization has recently withdrawn the offers extended to these candidates at no fault of their part. Given that this development has occurred at a stage when the institutional placement cycle is nearing closure, these candidates are now actively seeking external opportunities to begin their professional careers. We hold these candidates in high regard and strongly recommend them for roles commensurate with their qualification and abilities. We wish them every success. So, a student has posted this whole thing, and then NIT Warangal also came out with the clarification and said that these students actually got a job offer, but the offer was retracted for no fault of theirs, and they requested the industry also to start absorbing them. Because these students could get one offer, they could not sit for anyone else, so they don't have anything in their hand. So the thing is not just about Aditya, but many people like Aditya who would actually face this fate possibly. It starts with Oracle, and you actually know that many global companies are also announcing a lot of reduction in teams. It can be Meta or Oracle or many Accenture, and many companies have already announced that, right? So from that perspective, what we're looking at is a very, very conservative job estimate moving forward. The top ITS companies are now reducing the total headcount. We're not talking of campus hires, mind you. When your headcount comes down, for sure, the number of campus hires also will come down dramatically. And on the other hand, you actually have marquee companies which go for day zero offers, also retracting offers after what has been made. This is a warning signal that unless you're skilled enough, unless you actually are diving deeper into internships and ensuring that your jobs come through the PPO offer that happens, it is very difficult moving forward, because students are getting into an engineering program at this point in time in 2026. You're going to graduate in 2030. How will AI impact you? The impact is already being noticed. The impact is already being seen by some of the institutions. The impact is already being seen by some of the students. The impact is already seen by some of the companies which have reduced the number of people who they're hiring. So be careful, be warned, and make sure that you do the right thing so that you get placed, because getting into a btech doesn't mean a passport to a good job. That is no longer the case. Very few of you will get a job, and unless you're skilled, unless you're standing ahead of the queue in terms of skill sets, you'll not likely to get a job. In 2030, if you're graduating, and when you were to rely on the past data is no longer a guarantee for what's likely to happen in future. This is something that we wanted to warn you. I hope this helps you. Thank you so much. Namaste.